Welcome to my review, ramblings, funny skits about Obsession, the board game. So, as we get started, come join me as we go back to mid 19th century Derbyshire, England, the nice rolling hills as our family is growing in its prosperity. And let's see what Obsession has to offer us. Obsession was published in 2018 by Kayenta Games. The designer is Dan Halligan, and the artist is listed as Dan Halligan also. Board Game Geek listed as having a weight of 3.11 and with a playtime of between 30 and 90 minutes. As always, I like to give you the quick and dirty version up front. So basically, the bottom line is Obsession base game is good. With expansions, this game is great. Wait. There's a lot more to see. So I played 9 times solo, of course, in the month of September. And so you can see my BG stats here. And I did win 7 of those 9. However, one of those losses was a brutal, almost 100-point loss. So there definitely was a challenge there. And I should also say that in the States months ago, where my physical copy of the base game is, that I played 3 times. Once solo, and once at 2 players, and once at 3 players. So altogether, I got about 12 plays of a session that I'm basing my opinions on. So first, let's talk about gameplay. Obsession actually has a very simple gameplay loop. On the board, it shows like 8 steps, but really it's almost like 3, because basically a lot of it is just upkeep. And then you are hosting an event at your estate, and you invite your guests, and then you collect money and gain reputation, and so you can upgrade your estate, and then you can host bigger and better events and get more money and be able to invite more prestigious guests. And that's basically the game in a nutshell. So let's talk about the components. I found in Obsession that everything's got a nice weight to it. The tiles are chunky, a little thick, and the disc, everything has a nice little quality feel to them. In the artwork, there's not much in the way of artwork. They do have some really nice period photos on the cards. But as far as artwork itself, there's the box cover and the turn board has some nice art on it, but pretty much just minimalistic. I do want to point out that I guess it would be the organization of the box. And there's just little storage boxes for each family, and it's a really nice touch. Take a look at this photo here. So these storage boxes, it separates everything nice, and it has that just simplistic but evocative style to it. So overall, I find the components to be very good. Now let's talk about the theme. Now, this is where the game really elevates itself. I mean, the gameplay is very good, but combination with the theme is what it takes it to another level. It would be hard to imagine another game that carries theme as well as Obsession does. Now, truth be told, this theme, this really isn't my cup of tea. What's happening? Who are these pompous jerks? These people are irritating. Bates, what are you doing? Oh, think about Anna. Okay, maybe I do like the theme a little bit. But the best thing I can say is that in Obsession, I really try to follow along with the theme. Typically when I play a game, I kind of abstract things down to this blue guy, this red lady, whatever money they're using, I'll say $5. In Obsession, I actually try to use the butler, the valet, the housekeeper. Of course, in my playthroughs, I would butcher this constantly, but I was trying to use their names. Also, when you get a new guest, I would read their their flavor text, what their little bio is, and try to use the names of like the Fairchilds, and just I actually tried to play using the theme because it was there in spades. Okay, let's talk about setup. Yee. Obsession is a bit of a bear when setting up. There's a lot of particulars about even at the beginning the character cards and particularly when you're setting up the builder's market. And I just know when I was setting this up, I was just thinking that my wife would want no part of this. Thanks, honey, for helping me set up Obsession. Okay, we're almost there. So, okay, now we're on step 8. So we need to fill the builder's market. That's right there. See those 6 spots? So pull 6 tiles out of the bag. Yep. Okay. Oh, let's see here. Oh, you see that some of those numbers on the bottom left are greater than 3? Yeah, we can't use those. So set those aside and draw some more. Oh, wait. You see how 2 of those tiles are the same? Yeah. Okay, stack those 2 together. And then now we have to draw another one. Let me see. Yeah. So we draw another one to replace that one. Yeah, that one's a 6. So yeah, remember it's got to be less than 3 or 3 or less. So let's set that one aside. Yeah. So just draw again. Okay, good. Now, see these teeny tiny numbers on the tiles? Yeah, so we need to organize them from lowest to highest. So I should be setting it up for solo then? Yeah, so setup is a bit involved, but I can honestly say I feel like the gameplay is worth the effort. And I should also note that Obsession, I played it on Tabletop Simulator for my solo playthroughs in September. But so you got the Tabletop Simulator mod. There's actually a Windows app for it, and there's it's on Board Game Arena. So if you're playing virtually, obviously there's no setup involved. So now talking about the rules and the rule book, basically everything is in the rules. I thought it very straightforward and very thorough. There is an oddity about the rules. I'm going to talk about that in my more random thoughts. But I didn't have to go to like Board Game Geek to look up for like a random edge case scenario or anything like that. I found everything to be in the rulebook. Let's talk about that game length. Board Game Geek had it listed between 30 and 90 minutes. And boy, that 30 minutes just seems... I can't do it. I'm not the fastest player, but I don't see that happening. And going back to the aspect of the setup, I'd be kind of irritated if with the involved setup it ended up being a 30-minute game. But for example, when I was playing on Tabletop Simulator, of course I was streaming and commentating, but the standard game was about an hour and a half for me and 2 hours for the extended play. So obviously it would be quicker physically, but still 30 minutes seems really on the low end, but that 90 minutes seems just about right. So now let's go on to my random thoughts, and we'll start with the positives. The one thing I really liked about Obsession is there were so many choices, and now I'm going to speak really about with the upstairs, downstairs expansion included. But there are so many ways to accomplish your goal of saying you wanted to buy this upgrade for your estate or to host this activity and different people. There's so many ways that you could go about trying to accomplish this. And each way had like its own trade-off. Like, well, if I do this, I might be risking this. And I love those like crunchy decision spaces, and Obsession really had that, especially when you get into the later part of the game. And I thoroughly enjoyed that aspect. Another thing I really enjoyed was the negative guest, which is funny to say that the negative guests are a positive, but they really added to like the flavor of the game. It had some unique pluses and minuses. Like a guy would be, you can see some examples. The guy could be a curmudgeon, and so he maybe lose reputation, or a brash, rude American heiress was gets lots of money, but there'll be another negative trade-off, and so those really added to the fun of how you can use them, or how can you get rid of them. It's called dismissing, but it really added to the fun of the game. And the last positive I'll mention is basically just the simplicity of how things work. The gameplay is dead simple, and the AI couldn't be any more simple. Just roll a die and see which tile they're going to purchase from the builder's market. So everything just flows real quick, real simple. It makes the gameplay just flow so smooth. So simplicity in gameplay is high here, which leads me now to my things that I feel like I don't know. I'll have to figure out a term for that. But one thing that didn't rub me the right way is that I just praise the AI for being simple, but in a way it's almost too simple. It really doesn't feel like you're playing an opponent. I mentioned before with a theme, I'd always think about thematically what's happening. But then when I got to the AI, I'd just be like, okay, let's roll a die and see what tile they're going to buy. I didn't even think of it in terms of how they're upgrading their estate, because they really weren't. They were just taking a tile away from your choices. So the AI really didn't feel like I was playing against an opponent. The other point that I'm a little iffy on, and this is really a nitpick, is with the order of play. And I'll point the 8 steps there. And basically, like 1 through 6 is right there on your board. And 7, you go away to another board, to the builder's market, and buy an upgrade for your estate. And then you come back to your board for step 8. Now, probably playing this physically, it wouldn't make a difference. But playing on Tabletop Simulator, I had to go to like a different save camera or scroll. And I just found it, I don't want to say irritating, but it just bugged me every time where I had to leave and then come back to finish off the housekeeping. And so it just made me, I kept on picturing in my mind somebody doing a task and postponing an easier task that's right in front of them. It was kind of like, I was thinking like, May I help you, my lord? Yes, I'm finished with my breakfast. Could you please do 2 things for me? Could you go down to the architect and finalize the purchasing of the new barn for behind our property? And could you clear these plates right away? What are you doing? But no. First go down to the architect, then come clear these plates. It's right there. I could take it. Yes, my lord. I'm just teasing you, Dan. It's just a small thing, but we will go down to now what things I don't really care for about Obsession. And the first one would be the dual rule books. You got the main rule book, and then you got like a glossary that goes through all the roles, the tiles, actions, and really gives like a really nice historical flavor and why they're there. But there's also some gameplay things that are in the glossary that aren't in the rule book. So you kind of need to go through both to figure out the complete story, I guess, of the rules. And so while I appreciate this is again adding to the theme, you get this background on all these things. Somehow I wish they could have been combined, or just the rules completely in the rule book and the glossary completely separate. The other negative thing to talk about is and this is solely regarding the solo mode, and particularly the solo estate challenge, which is the one of the two variants. Is when the monuments are gone, to me the tension just leaves the game, and it doesn't happen in the standard play, or it's much more difficult to happen in the standard play. But I just feel then you're just looking at your efficiency engine, and it doesn't matter what they roll. It could be a minor irritation what they take, but nothing hurts you like the monuments. So when the monuments run out, to me the game kind of fizzles in that aspect. The last negative is it really is the lack of art. I do wish there was more art. What is there is so nice, and then you just get like these tiles, like for instance, like the flower room, and you're basically left up to your imagination, and I'm not good at that. And it's just like, ooh, this flower room, lush, lavish wallpaper, and these beautiful bouquets and everything, and I can only imagine. Yeah, I'm not good at it. I wish there was art. Don't leave it up to my imagination. Well, let's just move on to the final thoughts. And I realize maybe I haven't fully sold you on Obsession, but this game is a perfect example of a game where it's the sum is greater than its parts. This really is a masterpiece of the melding of theme and game design. Bottom line, if the theme piques your interest at all, this is a no-brainer to get. And maybe the theme isn't so much for you. I guarantee you that the gameplay will not leave you disappointed. So Obsession, this is a game that's a labor of love by Dan. And really, thank you for your efforts, Dan. So anyway, thanks for watching the review. I'll see you next time. Take care, everybody. And so, button down to Nabby. In Obsession, a brutal beatdown. I think I lost almost by like 100 points. That was just a weird anomaly. Banana. Do 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 do. So